Hey guys, Sean T. Phillips here on a brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Today gonna go out today, see what things came out, see what things are on sale. I know today though some of the big releases that come out is Captain Marvel. I know there's a number of different retail exclusives of that one. I believe Best Buy has a Steelbook of that one. Target I believe has a Digibook. I'm not sure if Walmart has any exclusives of that one. Also today Leprechaun Returns comes out, as well as 5 Feet Apart. There's also a really cool Ghostbusters 1 and 2 Steelbook that comes out today. It's a 4K Steelbook, which has some cool new, special features on that one, like some new deleted scenes and stuff. So hopefully I can find that one today. Also, though, at the end of this video is going to be a whole bunch of brand new DVD and Blu-ray reviews for some really cool things I received to review and talk about for you guys. Some really cool stuff, some new stuff from Arrow Video, Shout Factory, as well as a whole ton of other things as well. And as always, too, leave me comments below, in the comments, what you guys thought of the new DVDs and Blu-rays that are reviewed at the end of this video. If you guys have seen any of them, also if you guys plan on picking any of them up. But anyway, though, guys, let's get going and see what we can find today.
Into Best Buy we go.
And I'm going to Best Buy first today, like really shaking things up because they have I looked online, it looks like they have like one copy left of the Ghostbusters 1 and 2 Steelbook, the 4K Steelbook, so fingers crossed they have that one in here. This is one of those ones I feel like this is probably going to be one of the main stores that carries this one. They might have it at Walmart, I'm not sure. I wasn't seeing it online as showing in store, so fingers crossed they have it in here.
But in here though, since I came earlier today too, it's only about like 11:20. They actually have in here the Captain Marvel Steelbooks as well, the 4K one. It's a really cool image on this one. So the 4K one is $34.99 for that one. It's $29.99 for the standard edition 4K, and then $22.99 for the standard DVD. And they also have down here, oh yeah, so it's more 4K. So they actually have a lot of these, because usually the 4Ks tend to go really, really fast. But let's see if I can find this this Ghostbusters one and like where they put it, because it's like I feel like there's a bunch of different spots it could be. I actually do see there's two here. So yeah, it's $39.99 for that one, which is a little bit high, but I never actually got these ones on 4K, and it has a whole bunch of brand new features on this one. Like it has like 6 brand new deleted scenes which have never been seen before in the first movie. It has like the Oprah Winfrey Show cast the Ghostbusters on there, a whole bunch of like new outtakes, and go from the Ghostbusters TV commercial. So lots and lots of stuff on this one. So a really cool release. So yeah, like I said, this one though, I think will probably, you guys can get this one like on Amazon online, but when it comes to in-store, I feel like this was the place that had the most chance of having it. Also today though, Captive State, that one released for $19.99. If you guys have seen this one, let me know how this one was. This is one I have not seen yet. I'm kind of interested in it, so this one is good. Let me know for sure. Also 5 Feet Apart released today. That one's $19.99. This is one I really liked. Very, very sad movie, but really, really did like that one a lot. Other than that over here though, this is the main things I see. We'll head over to the section though and see what else they have. But over here though in the actual section though, I see a whole bunch more Captain Marvel 4K Steelbooks as well. So this is definitely one of those Steelbooks, the Disney ones, because sometimes they go really, really fast. This one I feel like they have a lot more than normal, this one. Because like sometimes I don't remember Disney having this many Steelbooks. Sometimes they're a lot more limited. But like I said, this one is $34.99 for that one. It seems like there are only 4K Steelbooks, no Blu-ray Steelbooks for this one. Also though, over here they have Leprechaun Returns for only $9.99. And that's a really, really good price for that. And this was like a sci-fi original movie, but it is rated R though, so it is like super gory. I really like this one. And Mark Halton, who was in the original Leprechaun movie, who's also, played Francis in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, he's in this movie as well. But this is a really, really fun movie. I really, really love this one. And it's actually a direct sequel to the original. It's not the same actor playing, Warwick Davis isn't playing the Leprechaun, but the new actor did a really good job in this one. Also though, today, 13 Hours came out today on 4K, and that's a good price for the 4K, only $14.99 for that one. And Fast 5 and the Fast and Furious, I think this was the 4th film here, because it has a 4 on the side. I guess it's the 4th one? I don't know. I thought this was the first one was Fast and Furious, but maybe it's the 4th. But that one is $17.99, and Fast 5 is $17.99 as well. These are, I believe, the first time they came out on 4K. Also, though, over here they have Orange is the New Black, the complete 6th season here on Blu-ray, and that one is $17.99 for that one. Let's see if there's anything else over here. I think this one was today as well. This Star Trek one, which is like the Kelvin timeline. which is like, it just seems to be all three of the movies together here in this set, and has like a fold-out poster thing inside for this one, and that one's $39.99. Other than that, though, I don't see in this section over here any more copies, though, of the Ghostbusters Steelbook. It seems like there was only those two ones in the very front. Yeah, so like I said, I ended up getting that Steelbook in there, mainly, too, because I didn't ever get it before in the past. You know, I didn't get when they released the original 4Ks of these ones, like a year or two back. And like I said, this one has a whole bunch of brand new features on it. So definitely look forward to seeing these ones on here. And like I said, there was only two of them, so glad I ended up going here first. And let me know, though, if you guys, you know, went to Best Buy today looking at the, you know, the 4Ks for this one or Captain Marvel, if they had like that many copies in. It is only 11:30 now, so it was much earlier than normal, but like I said, I feel like they definitely had a whole lot more 4K Steelbooks than they usually do for some of the Marvel ones. Into Target we go. And one thing I want to make sure to mention, if you guys haven't heard, I talked about it in my last two videos, how I'm going to be doing a cameo on Full Moon's brand new film, Hollyweed Night, Meet the Ouijas. And the film is actually starting right now shooting. What's really cool, though, is it's part of a series of 10 films they're doing called The Deadly 10. And go to the website below, the Deadly 10 website. And what they're doing is they're actually live streaming the entire process of all these films. This one, though, Hollyweed Night, actually starts shooting today. So by the time this video is up, they're actually going to be live streaming. What they're going to be doing, though, is on the Deadly 10 website, they're going to be live streaming the entire production of the film, and I'm going to be going there. I'm leaving tomorrow, but the scene that I'm going to be in, the party scene where I'm doing the cameo in, that's going to be shooting on Thursday. So if you guys go on the Deadly 10 website on Thursday, you guys can see me on there when I'm doing my stuff and see the big party scene. There's a bunch of other people doing cameos and stuff as well then. So definitely head to the Deadly 10 website. You guys can sign up for free. Like I said, the link will be below for that, and let me, you know, definitely check that out on Thursday as well. But it's on there right now. But through all these films, though, they're going to be live streaming all the processes of like the casting process, the special effects, and as well all the other 9 films in the series. As throughout all the production, they'll be, you know, live streaming with roaming cameras and everything, so you guys can see that. But definitely sign up for that, you know, below. And in Target, they have a big standee out for Captain Marvel. Like I said, this one comes with a filmmaker book with this one. And this one here, their limited edition one, their exclusive one, has a really cool cover on this one. I love the artwork on this one. Like I said, though, this is includes a 40-page filmmaker book inside of this one. That one's $34.99 for their exclusive edition here. And then the standard 4K is $29.99. Like I said, and their exclusive is 4K as well. And then the standard Blu-ray here, that one's $22.99 for that one. Like I said, though, I actually really like the artwork on this one here. And over here, though, in the actual section, though, it seems like they mix these two prices up, because $29.99 is for the standard 4K and $34.99 is for their exclusive edition of this one. But they also have over here 5 feet apart. That one's $19.99 for the Blu-ray of that, $14.99 for the DVD. And Captive State here, that one's $22.99 for that one. Like I said, though, if you guys have seen this one, though, let me know how this one was, if this one is worth checking out or not. Other than that, though, I'm seeing if there's anything else different over here. If they have Leprechaun, I'm not seeing Leprechaun anywhere over here, unless they didn't just put that out anywhere. But it doesn't look like they're going to have that, as far as I can tell. And like I said, I don't see any of the Ghostbusters Steelbook here as well. And this past weekend, I saw a couple different films. The first one I saw was X-Men Dark Phoenix. Now, I know that one, though, review-wise, didn't get really good reviews. It didn't do good at the box office. It's really making me wonder, if X-Men New Mutants is ever going to actually release. Because I heard they're going to finally do, like they said like a couple weeks ago, they're finally going to do the reshoots for that one. I actually really want to see it. I mean, the original trailer I saw for New Mutants actually looked kind of interesting. I like the idea it was like an X-Men horror movie. But because Dark Phoenix didn't do so well, I'm really wondering if that one's ever going to actually come to theaters now and might just be going straight to like streaming, something like that, because I know there's a lot of rumors with that. I really do hope if they do all that streaming thing with it, at least they put it out on Blu-ray. Sometimes when things go on streaming, like exclusive to it, you don't end up getting a Blu-ray of it. So hopefully that's not the direction it goes. But, when it comes to Dark Phoenix, though, I thought the movie was all right. Like, I didn't think, when it comes to, like, these reviews that are saying it was, like, so bad and everything, I didn't think it was, like, terrible. Like, when you compare it, though, to, like, the Avengers and everything, Avengers Endgame and stuff, like the quality of those films, it's not up to par with them. But it still was, I thought the new one was a fun movie.
movie. I know there was like a lot of reshoots on this one had too, like the whole ending was reshot. There was all these major changes and stuff. I do hope though, when they put it on Blu-ray though, if they put the, you know, original ending and all that kind of stuff, they sometimes do, not always, sometimes those like reshoot endings that were the original ones, you never end up seeing them. But I thought the movie was all right. Like, it wasn't anything amazing, but it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't like horrible. And the other one that I saw, I finally got to see, you know, was the live action Aladdin, which is another one that had some mixed reviews. And, you know, when it comes to the original Aladdin movie, I always really loved that movie. For some reason, too, every time I think of Aladdin, the original animated movie, I always think of, you know, the Sega game. I don't know why. Like, as a kid, like, I loved that game. It was really difficult. But, like, I think of that almost more than I think of the movie. I have no idea why. But, when it comes to the new one, though, the live-action version, I actually thought it was all right. I wasn't sure at first, you know, because when it comes to, you know, the character of the genie, like, Robin Williams was so amazing in that role, and, you know, Robin Williams was always known, too, for doing, like, voices and crazy characters and everything, so he had all these different kind of voices he did within the genie's character, and these crazy, like, high, you know, all kinds of different styles, and, you know, he would do, like, all these different ones within the genie character. But when it comes to Will Smith, he didn't do as much of that. He kind of did his own thing with it, and I kind of like that he didn't go and try and like mimic what Robin Williams did, and kind of did his own thing with the part. And I actually thought he did a good job for it, you know, for what he did with it. All around, though, you know, overall with the movie, though, I thought it was actually all right. Like, I thought that it was, you know, relatively well done. It was one of those ones I could see myself actually looking at again. It's not like, what, you know, some of the live-action Disney ones, you know, I know are not, like, amazing. But, like, this one I thought really was all right. I'm really interested, though, in seeing how the Lion King one is. Because that, you know, the live-action Lion King, because even though it's live-action, it's still animated. Because, you know, the animals are not doing that stuff. So it's sort of still, like, it's done to look live-action, but it's still animated, and it seems like it's a little bit more, you know, cartoon style, like the original cartoon film was. It seems like it still has more of that vibe, because the Aladdin one didn't have as many of like the fun, over-the-top kind of cartoony characters in it. It seems like the Lion King one is going to have a little bit of that in it still, but like Aladdin, though, was much more serious in tone. But if you guys saw either of those films, you know, let me know, you know, what you guys thought of them, or what films you saw this past weekend if you guys got to see anything.
Into Walmart we go. And over here, though, they have a standee for Captain Marvel. There's a thing here that says limited 2 per customer, but that one is $22.99 for the standard edition Blu-ray for that one. I wasn't seeing any exclusives in here, though. And then these 2 ones here are randomly locked up. All the other ones are not. And just these 2 ones here, and then the 4Ks over here, those ones are locked up, though. Those ones are $29.96 for those. But then over here in the actual section, I didn't see any exclusives either. But they did have a couple other things over here, though. They had over here, this is one of the ones I didn't get to show last week, a Medea family funeral. They have an exclusive edition which has a tote bag with that one. And then they have 5 Feet Apart here as well. That one's $19.96 for the Blu-ray, and then $14.96 for the DVD of that one. They have a thing here too, which is, it's like basically just Get Out, but then it has like a digital version of Us, which that one releases next week. I'm going to be talking about the DVD, though, of that one the Blu-ray of that one at the end of this video. Other than that, though, they have Norm in the North, King Size Adventure. That one released today on DVD and Blu-ray. That one's $14.96 for the Blu-ray, and then $12.96 for the DVD. And they have Captive State here as well. That one's $19.96 for the Blu-ray and $14.96 for the DVD. But they do have Leprechaun Returns here, and it's funny that the Blu-ray is $9.96 as well as the DVD of that one. So it's kind of funny, the Blu-ray and the DVD are, so everything's falling, but both the Blu-ray and the DVD are both exactly the same price. These things are always difficult to get back in. Then also, though, they have this one, which I've heard decent things about. It only seems like they have the DVD of it, though. This one here called the Mustang. If you guys have seen this one too, let me know how this one was. This is like the only place I've seen this, and it seems like they only have the DVD here, but this is one I might eventually buy, because I have heard decent things. But if you guys have seen it as well, let me know what you guys thought of that. Other than that, though, I think this one might have been today, this Doctor Who, the animated collection, as well as T-34. I think that one was today as well. I'm not gonna get it back in here. Yeah, see, See how difficult it is to get these things in?
So anyway though guys, that's all for my DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Like I always say, if you guys enjoy these shopping videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Also in the comments below though, let me know, what you guys picked up on DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K, if you guys picked up anything today. And make sure as well to go to the Deadly Dares website and sign up for that for free so you guys can watch the live streaming of Hollyweed Night. Like I said, I'll be there on set Thursday so you guys can see me on set then. So definitely check that out live on Thursday. And also though, let me know as well what you guys thought of the new DVDs and Blu-rays that I reviewed at the end of this video. What you guys have thought of them, if you guys have seen any of them. But anyway though guys, now stay tuned for the brand new reviews. Now before we get to the reviews, I got sent some really cool FY exclusive steelbooks here to show you guys. Now these ones you guys can get in stores in FYE as well as on their website. Now the first one we have here is the Arrow video release here of Wes Craven's The Last House on the Left. This is a movie I always really liked. It's a very brutal, pretty hard to watch film, but the way it was shot and everything, it was like this, it has this real documentary style vibe to it, which is always super creepy and very effective. On the back here though, it has the trailer saying, which is like in the trailer to this movie, to avoid fading, keep repeating, it's only a movie, only a movie, only a movie, which was a very effective trailer to this film, especially for the time. There really wasn't anything like this that was made. This is the first two, real known Wes Craven film. And this one here, when you open this up, you have David Hess's character here. And here a little look at the artwork behind the disc, which is the father character here. But like I said, this is one of those movies, if you guys have never seen this movie, actually I've always really liked this one. The next one here is James Wan's film here, The Conjuring, which I really like this image here of the one character with the hand coming behind the door. And then a little look, I'll show you guys a look at the back. Here's the actual paper on the back. But here's a look at the character here with the Annabelle doll. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the new Annabelle film, which kind of looks more like a Conjuring film a little bit, the way it kind of looks. And here's a look inside. The characters here. Let's see if there's anything behind the disc. Behind the disc is just like a black image. But this is like a really creepy movie. The one sequence in here with the character, like the character that was like leaning over the bookshelf on the top of the bookcase, like dresser, that thing creeped me out so much. I remember that was one of the few things that gave me like horrific dreams for some reason, that character. Anytime I look up there, I feel like I'm going to see that thing up there. I don't know why. And then like the last one here is the Batman, for Tim Burton's Batman, the brand new steelbook for Batman. So a really cool one here for that. And you have, Batman and the Joker here on the back. And here's a look inside. This is, one of those movies too, like I grew up watching and watched this movie so many times throughout my life, and especially love the Prince music in this. I feel like the Prince music really adds, is like a huge character point to this film and fits so amazing to this movie. But some really cool ones here, like I said, some FY exclusive steelbooks, and you guys can get these ones, on FYE's website or in stores. And the first one I got here is from Arrow Video. It's a movie here called Double Face. This is a really interesting film here starring Klaus Kinski. I'd never seen this one before. This is essentially, though, about Klaus Kinski's character, and he's been married to his wife for about 2 years, and things started off really good. Things have really been perfect, but then all of a sudden, though, things have gotten a little strange, and things are a little different, and his wife is hanging around with this woman all the time, and, they're kind of hinting at that they have, a relationship, and he's starting to kind of suspect that they have a relationship, and he's, talking to her about it and asking her, and she's kind of sort of decided that he's already made up his mind already, that he kind of knows that they're together or there's something going on, but he's kind of but she's pretty much saying to him, I want to stay with you, and I want you to stay here, I don't want anything to change. So he's kind of sort of decided he's just going to kind of accept whatever is going on here. But then at the same time, his wife has now decided though that she wants to go and take a kind of a break and take this trip by herself and kind of think over things and everything. So she's going to be going away for a while. Right before she goes, though, you see somebody messing around with the car. They put something underneath of her car's brakes, and then the car ends up, when she leaves, ends up exploding, and she's, pronounced dead. And, the police look at it as an accident. But then all of a sudden, though, the husband, Klaus Kinski's character, is kind of going on this trip, and he's kind of going away to places where they went when they were happy and everything was perfect. So the police are kind of starting to kind of wonder if maybe he had something to do with this. And also, because she died, though, she was, the head of this company, and now he's taken over the company because she died. So they're kind of starting to investigate him. Then at the same time, though, this one woman, right when he gets back from his trip, is randomly in his house, and she's in there, and he's wants her to leave, and he's listen, I'll take you wherever you want to go, but you need to leave the house. And he takes her to this club, and he goes inside after her. and they're watching these like adult films in there, and he sees someone in there that looks like his wife in one of the movies, because she has this scar in the back of her neck that his wife had. So then he starts to kind of wonder, is there something going on here, and is maybe his wife not dead, and is this some kind of a weird thing happening? So it's kind of him kind of looking into the whole thing, trying to get to the bottom of it, as well as at the same time the police kind of looking into him as a suspect. But it was a really, really interesting movie here. This one has on here a brand new 2K restoration here. Looks really, really good. It also has on here the Italian language version, as well as the English language track. Feature-wise, though, it has a commentary track on here with author and film critic Tim Lucas, as well as a brand new video interview with the composer in this one, as well as a featurette on here talking about the composer and the music that he has done. It also has on here, though, a whole bunch of different an extensive image gallery on here, which has a German press book, lobby cards, so a bunch of different stuff, as well as the English and Italian language theatrical trailers on this one. There's also a booklet in here which has, you know, pictures from the film and like production notes and all that kind of stuff about the movie. But a really, really interesting, you know, like I said, kind of like whodunit kind of mystery thriller film here. The next one I got here is from Shout Factory Scream Factory line. It's a movie here called I'll Take Your Dead. This is one I absolutely love. This movie. Give this one a top recommendation. You guys have totally got to check this one out. This one, though, is essentially about this guy and his daughter, and they live out, you know, like in this farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere. Essentially, though, people bring bodies, like if there's like a gang and they kill like a rival gang member, or they kill someone else in the gang that they want to get rid of or anything, they bring the bodies and drop them off at this guy's farmhouse, and they pay him. And what he does is, though, he's like known as like the legend around town. They don't know, like not a lot of people know who he is, but they know that that this is like going on as like the legend of the town. You know, that, you know, he ends up making the bodies disappear. So he takes them in his basement, dissolves them in acid and everything. And his daughter, though, she knows about this stuff going on, and because of this, though, she starts seeing like the spirits of those that he has gotten rid of, the bodies he's gotten rid of. She starts like seeing them around the house, and they're haunting her, and she's like seeing all kind of really creepy stuff is going on. But one of the things that happens, though, is in the beginning of this movie, though, this gang ends up dropping off a couple bodies for him to get rid of, and you know, when he's in there like dissolving the one, he finds out that the one is actually one girl is still alive. And he's not somebody who is a killer or anything like that. He just does this for money to get rid of the bodies and everything, but he's not someone who's out there killing anybody. So he doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't want to call them. He's kind of in a situation where he's not sure what to do, so he ends up tying up this girl and putting her in the upstairs room upstairs. And the daughter starts talking to her, to this girl that's tied up and everything. And essentially, though, it's sort of him not sure what he's going to do, and he's also like really wants to get out of this whole thing. So it's like a really awkward situation for him to try and figure out what to do. But this is like such a really, really cool movie. The acting in here was amazing. Everybody did a really good job. I kept thinking too, the daughter in here kind of looked like a young Emma Roberts, and I looked it up, and she actually played a young Emma Roberts in the movie Little Italy. There was like a flashback scene in that when she was younger, and she actually played her in it, because she really, really does look like a young Emma Roberts. But acting wise and everything, this is amazing performances in here. Just a really, really great character study with some horror elements in here as well. But absolutely, like I said, top recommendation here. This one has on here, though, behind the scenes featurette, deleted scenes, script to screen comparison, as well as trailers on this one. And the next one I got here is from Shout Factory Scream Factory line as well, and this is the collector's edition here of Night of the Creeps. This one also has the original poster artwork as well, reversible artwork for this one. This is one, though, I've always really loved this movie. This is such a fun movie. This is directed by Fred Dekker, who also directed The Monster Squad. And essentially, though, this is about, like, it starts in 1959, and this alien substance gets sent down, you know, from space, and it crash lands on Earth, and this guy ends up, you know, infecting this guy, and he goes crazy and kills his girlfriend. And then it's years later. It's set in, I think it's like 1985, I believe, or 85 or 86. And it's basically, though, about these two guys who are, you know, planning to pledge for this fraternity. And one of them is played by Jason Lively. The other one is Steve Marshall. Jason Lively, though, was in like National Lampoon's European Vacation, a bunch of really cool stuff. But essentially, though, it's about like one of the things they have to do to get into this fraternity is they have to go and bring a body back and put it in front of the sorority house. So they end up going into this like medical facility, and they go in there to, you know, where they have like cryogenical bodies, frozen bodies and everything. And they end up unknowingly, you know, getting out the guy who was from the beginning of this movie, who went crazy and had like the substance infect him. And they end up laying the body out, and then they kind of get scared and run off. But what ends up happening, though, is the stuff in there, these worm things inside of the body and the brain brain and everything, and they go and get loose and start infecting people in the town and like around the college and everything. And it's essentially though this zombie movie about these people becoming infected and going absolutely crazy, and they're all trying to figure out what to do. It's just a really, really fun, crazy, wacky movie. Really, really, like I said, I've always really loved this movie. This one has on here though the theatrical cut of the film as well as the director's cut. So it has two different discs. One is the theatrical and one is the director's cut. Feature-wise though, it has on here new interviews with some of the actors on here, as well as a new episode of Horror's Hallowed Ground with Sean Clark going and looking at the film locations now. I always really love those, seeing what the locations look like now. Also has on here a commentary track on here with the director, commentary track on here with the cast, original theatrical ending, deleted scenes, some featurettes on this one, as well as a theatrical trailer and a still gallery. But a really, really fun movie and a great new release of this one. And the next one here is from Shout Factory Scream Factory line as well. This is one I just wanted to let you guys know was available, and this is a really cool set. This is the Universal Horror Collection Volume 1. I believe Volume 2, they're going to be releasing a Volume 2 in July, I believe. This one has on here 4 different films. It has on here The Black Cat, The Raven, The Invisible Ray, and Black Friday. Now, all 4 of these films, all star, Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff. So it's 4 different films that they both star in. And I'll let you guys know some of the features and stuff in here, but here's a look inside. Each of the films, though, is on its own disc here. And then there's a booklet in here which has like the information about like the cast on here. Like here's the one for Black Cat, the Raven here, as well as the Invisible Ray and Black Friday. But feature-wise, though, there's a bunch of different features. There's a thing on here on all of them talking about Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff, in the films that they did at Universal together. And then also has on these ones, like for Black Cat, it has 2 different commentary tracks on here with film historians. It has on here Dream Within a Dream, the classic cinema of Edgar Allan Poe, vintage footage from the Black Cat contest, still gallery. The Raven has a brand new 2K scan of the film from the original film elements. It has on here 2 commentary tracks with film historians as well. It also has on here audio recordings with Bela Lugosi reading The Tall Tale Heart, as well as a still gallery on that one. Invisible Ray has a brand new 2K scan as well from the original film elements. Has a commentary track on here with the film historian as well. Re-released the theatrical trailer. Like I said, all these ones have the documentary though on Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff working at Universal and the films that they worked on. And then Black Friday has a brand new 2K scan as well. Has a commentary track on here with film historians. And also has on here Inner Sanctum Mystery Radio Show, Telltale Heart, starring Boris Karloff, theatrical trailer, and a still gallery. But like I said, if you guys are fans of Boris Karloff and, Bela Lugosi, really cool set of all these ones together. And next one here is from Lionsgate. It's a movie here called Crypto. This is about this guy who works for this company, and he's kind of in charge of, like, their security and making sure that like hackers can't get into their systems and things like that. And something goes wrong and they end up not happy with something that he had done there and the way he like was looking into things and things like that. So they ended up kind of demoting him, and he gets taken down to this like this bank, and he goes there and he's basically there sent to go and do like looking into their books and looking into like the people at the bank, some of the investments, and he's like they're auditing it and everything like that. But when he's there, he starts noticing though that there's this one place that he looks into, and it's like this museum, and they're like spending all this money, and there's like some really weird things going on. He's like noticing it seems like way too much. So it's kind of him going and investigating it and trying to look into what exactly is going on. And it becomes like this thing where like, and they know that he's like looking into it, and they kind of want him to like work for them. And it becomes this whole big like situation of like, him finding out things that he shouldn't. And he's also like, finding out stuff too, because where he goes back to in this bank was where he actually grew up and hadn't been there in years. And he's noticing too that his father is going through all these financial things, and he's kind of thinking too like he can kind of help his father out a little bit too if he goes and like works for this group where he can tell something shady is going on. It's actually pretty interesting, like a thriller film here, and Kurt Russell stars in this movie as well. This one has on here though a commentary track on here with the director, as well as a featurette on the making of the film. film and a trailer gallery on this one. And the next one I got here is from Lionsgate as well, and this is also an A24 title. This is a movie here called Under the Silver Lake, which is directed by David Robert Mitchell, who also directed the film It Follows, which is a absolutely a must-watch horror movie, which I love so much. So I was really looking forward to seeing this one. But in It Follows, though, that in my opinion has one of the best scares of all time. When that character, the tall character, comes to the door, I for some reason that sequence creeped me out more than anything else I'd seen in years. I don't know what it was about that, but this movie here is one that I was waiting to see for a really long time. So I'm so glad this one has finally gotten a release, because like I said, I was really looking forward to seeing this one. And it's a very, very different film. It's done in a noir style, like a 40s noir style, mixed with a Brian De Palma kind of feel, like a body double kind of vibe as well, with this serious mystery aspect as well. But basically what this is about is Andrew Garfield's character. He lives in this apartment complex, and he's kind of spying out the window at his one neighbor and like looking at people at the pool and everything. And he sees this one girl at the pool, and her, played by Riley Keough's character, and he had never seen her before. And he's like starts kind of looking at her and kind of like thinking, who is this person? And he goes down there to talk to her, and they kind of start hanging out for the entire day, all the way into the end of the night. And like things are going great, and he's like really feels like he likes this girl and everything, and she likes him. But then the second her friends show up, she's like, "Oh, you gotta go. You gotta get out of here now. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll come by tomorrow, and we'll hang out again." Of course, though, he comes by tomorrow morning to the apartment, or he was hanging out with her, and in the morning, everything has gone missing. All the furniture is gone. It's basically 100% deserted, and he has no clue what happened to her, and he ends up breaking into the apartment, and he finds this box of her stuff, this little teeny box, like a cigar box of some of her things. There's a picture in there, and this kind of weird code thing in there, and then right when he's like, looking through the box, this other woman comes in the apartment, so he ends up hiding, and he's kind of, basically what the movie's about, though, is him kind of following the mystery of where did she go and what happened to her character. And he, like the one girl that he saw who came into the apartment afterwards and took the box that he was looking at, he's kind of trying to track down her, and it's like this whole super mystery going on in here about what had happened to her, and he's kind of going all around and trying to figure out, put together clues and everything. And it's a really, really interesting movie. It's very, very hard to explain, super, super complex, and like I said, it's got a real noir style vibe to this, with the music in here, the way it's shot, and like some of the sequences and everything. And the music in here is done by the same composer who did the music in It Follows, but it's very different music. It's by the composer Disaster Piece, but this is real like 1940s style, noir type music, film noir type music. So very, very different, but really, really well done throwback music. This is one on here I would highly, highly recommend you guys check out. Super, super complex film here, but it has on here 2 different featurettes from the movie. But like I said, really, really like this one. And the next one here is from Universal, and this is Jordan Peele's new film here, Us. This is from Jordan Peele, who also directed Get Out. This is one, though, if you guys have not watched this movie, an absolute must-watch. It's hard to say if I like this one more than Get Out. I feel like I liked it just about the same. But this one had some more slightly interesting aspects to this one, I thought. And I also really love the music in this one. This is essentially, though, about, in the beginning of this movie, Lupita Nyong'o's character, when she's a kid, she's at the beach, and she kind of wanders away from her parents, and she ends up walking into this like weird mystery maze fun house. She goes in there, and she ends up seeing someone that looks exactly like her, like a total like doppelganger clone of herself, and she's like, she gets real freaked out from this, and like what is going on? And it's like something that's haunted her forever, because it cuts to years later, and she ends up with her family going to the beach again, and she's really like not happy about the whole thing. She's kind of sort of like getting like memories of what she saw in the past again. She doesn't really want to have to go to the beach, and she's not really excited about the whole thing. But of course, though, as soon as they go back there, she goes back to the beach and takes the family there and everything. It starts off like it's going to be normal and everything, and then all of a sudden, the one at night, you see the clones, return. The clone, but it's not just a clone of her this time, it's a clone of the entire family, and they all show up outside the house, and it's essentially, though, and I can't really say too much more from there what goes on, but it's basically this really creepy, movie about what's going on with these clones, and like, especially Lupita Nyong'o's character's like voice of the clone. When you hear it, it's like really creepy. But there were some really, really cool aspects in this movie that I really loved. I also like Tim Heidecker is in here playing the one friend. He's from Tim and Eric, and he's been in lots of different stuff, but he is cool seeing him in here and as well. But acting-wise and everything in here, this was really good. I can't wait to see Jordan Peele's, because he's going to be producing the Candyman movie, which, originally it didn't sound like Tony Todd was going to be in it, but now it sounds like Tony Todd's going to actually be in the movie. So now I'm really excited about it, because, I feel like, when you think of Candyman, Tony Todd is, the thing you think of. He was, what, to me, made those films. So I'm really glad that it looks like he's going to be in the new one. But on here, feature-wise, though, it has a bunch of different featurettes on the making of on here. It has deleted scenes. So lots and lots of features on this one, but a really, really cool movie. Like I said, if you guys have not seen it, definitely a must watch. And the next one here is from Warner Brothers. They sent out a free copy of this one to let you guys know that this is available. This is the TNT original limited series here, I Am the Night, which stars Chris Pine. This is also directed by Patty Jenkins, who directed Wonder Woman and of course directed Monster. So I've really liked her stuff. This is a different take on the whole Black Dahlia murder mystery, the whole thing. There's always a huge amount of mystery to that. Brian De Palma directed the film on the Black Dahlia murder as well. So I really thought that was actually kind of an underrated film, which wasn't perfect, but I always kind of liked certain aspects of it. And I thought it was kind of cool Katie Lang was acting in the movie. But essentially, though, this is about this girl who finds out that she was adopted, and she's going and trying to track down her family and kind of figure out get to the bottom of everything. And it's she ends up coming across Chris Pine's character, who is this reporter, and he's kind of fallen in hard times, and he's kind of can't get over something that had happened in the past and kind of sort of ruined his name and everything. And it's kind of them together trying to figure out into the case of the thing, because he starts to kind of believe that she might have some connections to this case and everything. It's kind of hard to explain, but I thought this was actually really, really interesting. Like I said, a very different take on the whole Black Dahlia murder mystery and everything on here. This is, like I said, this is a 2-disc set here, and then it has an episode guide in here as well. Like I said, just want to let you guys know that this was available. It also has on here, though, a bunch of different featurettes on the making of the show. And the next one here is from Paramount. It's a movie here called Wonder Park. This is actually a kind of a fun animated film. It's definitely more for kids, but I still did actually think it was a pretty decent animated movie. And this has a bunch of different voice talents in here by Jennifer Garner, Kenan Thompson, Mila Kunis, John Oliver, Matthew Broderick. But essentially, though, it's about this girl who is always her and her mom would always kind of make this little amusement park with toys and stuff like that in the girl's bedroom, and it was kind of their imaginary theme park, and they'd always imagine going down the roller coaster and all that kind of stuff. But what ends up happening, though, is the mother gets really sick and she goes away for treatment and everything, and the girl the mother goes away, becomes really depressed and kind of takes away the toys and kind of starts to sort of forget about all of that. But essentially, though, she ends up one day wandering out into the woods and actually kind of discovers that the Wonder Park that she always imagined is actually real. And she goes out there, and the Wonder Park has all sorts of problems, and there's these little these monkey creatures that are going there and destroying the park, and they're kind of in there causing all sorts of mischief and messing things up in the park. So she's in there trying to figure out how to save the park and get everything figured out and everything. And it's it was actually, like I said, it was actually a really pretty fun movie. It's definitely more for kids themed and everything, but still was actually a fun movie. And I always like to, Kenan when he's in something too, doing a voice and acting and things. This has on here, though, feature wise, it has Sing Along with June, and has How to Draw Boomer and the Wonder Chimps, and there's a couple other featurettes as well on this one. And the next one here is from Sony. It's a movie here called Slaughterhouse Rules. This is a really fun movie here, which stars Asha Butterfield, Michael Sheen, Nick Frost, and Simon Pegg. Like I said, this is called Slaughterhouse Rules. And this is basically, though, about this boarding school academy. And it's, at the school, though, it's the new kids have started there. And, nearby, though, in the woods, they're doing this weird, there's, a big tower there, which is, drilling for oil. And they're doing some weird stuff. And they kind of seem like the people who are out there kind of seem like they're up to something, and they don't want anybody around. And the principal, played by Michael Sheen, is saying don't go out there. He's the headmaster in the film. He's don't go out there. Don't mess around in the woods. There's some stuff going on out there. And it's but essentially, though, they end up unleashing this sinkhole into the ground, which ends up letting these creatures out. And it's about some of the characters at the school who are still there, because some of them left because I think they were they got in trouble, so some of them had to stay. So there was only a few of them left. And it's essentially, though, them having to try and survive from these creatures coming out of the ground. It's actually a really fun creature movie, and it's Nick Frost is in here playing like this guy who's like living out in the middle of the woods, and he's like a really fun character. And Simon Pegg is playing a teacher at the school, and like he's like his character is dating Margot Robbie, and you know she ended up going on this expedition and left, and he's like throughout the movie he's talking to her over Skype, and like he's like can't believe that he like didn't go with her, and he's like, oh, I should have gone with you, and she's like with these other guys and stuff. It's a really fun stuff going on between them, like the scenes and everything. Like I said, I actually thought this was a really fun movie here. This is definitely one I recommend you guys check out. The next one here, these ones are from Movie Zing, and this is from a Warner Archive release. This is a movie here called Corvette Summer, which stars Mark Hamill and Annie Potts. And this movie, though, like I was watching this, I'm like, this movie definitely inspired Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It's got like the same vibe. There's like similar scenes. There's even similar lines that happen in this, because it's basically about Mark Hamill's character who is in this class at high school. He's getting ready to graduate, and he's there, and what he does is, it's like where they fix up cars. So he goes to the junkyard and he spots this Corvette, and he's like, oh, we gotta, it's like this car, he's like, wants to save it, so he wants to fix it up and everything. So he ends up fixing it up, and like the whole, you know, group that he works with is all excited how like they made this, but he's like really in love with this car. But the one day the guy goes out to get drinks at this burger place, one of the guy in the class, I think it might have been Danny Bonaducci's character that went out with the car, and it ends up getting stolen. And then Mark Hamill is like freaking out about this, and he wants to track it down. It becomes, like I said, just like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, where he goes on this expedition to try and find it, and it leads him to Vegas. And in Vegas he meets Annie Potts' character along the way because he's hitchhiking. Like I said, there's like scenes that are so similar to Pee-wee. I was like, I never knew there was this other movie out there that like inspired, or I feel like it really did have inspiration to Pee-wee. Like the same kind of vibe and everything, like chase scenes and everything. But he's basically, though, he's out there, and Annie Potts' character is going out to Vegas because she wants to be a prostitute out there. But she's like, they kind of come across each other throughout this movie, and there's all kinds of like cameos in this movie. Dick Miller's in this movie, like lots and lots of cameos, the people that he comes across. And it's really cool too to see like old Vegas, because this was, I think it's filmed in like 76 or 77. So you see so many things that don't exist anymore, like the original look to like the Flamingo and the MGM, and how there's like parking in the front of the hotel, like so different. It's such a cool movie, though. Absolutely love this movie so much. And like I said, didn't know that there was a movie like out there was like a real Pee-wee kind of movie, but like instead it was like being a bike, it was about a guy obsessed with his car. Next one here is from the Warner Archive as well, and this is the complete original series of Johnny Quest. This is the original one, because there was like some series of this that went on throughout the years, like other renditions of it, and I think there was a couple like movies as well. I believe so. They were like TV movies. I'm not 100% sure though, but I remember there was later ones. This is one I remember watching a lot as a kid, like when they were re-airing this, and they had it like on Cartoon Network as well, and a couple other places I remember seeing this. But you know, this is the first time this has been in HD and looks like amazing. This is like cleaned up so well. If you guys are fans of this show, it's definitely like an absolute must for upgrade. Like it looks really good here. This is basically though about this kid. It's kind of like him and this group of these people who are going on kind of like expeditions, like to sort of save the day from like bad guys and everything. It's from Hanna-Barbera, so you know, who were behind Scooby-Doo and a bunch of tons of different cartoons like the Jetsons and everything. But it has like a similar kind of vibe a little bit to like more of like a spy thriller, like 007 kind of feel, mixed with like Scooby-Doo in there, if you guys have never seen this before. But it has on here though, feature-wise, Johnny Quest files, fun facts and trivia, Johnny Quest adventures in animation, as well as a commercial on this one. But this is like one, like I said, if you guys are a fan of this show, definitely worth the upgrade. Both these ones are from Movie Zing as well, and these are from the Orchard releases. This is a movie here called Zoo. This is basically, though, about this couple who, you know, they've kind of had, like, some sort of arguments, and things are not 100% perfect between them and everything, but they end up, like, kind of, like, not knowing if they're going to be able to continue on with each other, and things are just not exactly perfect. And what ends up happening, though, is they end up getting quarantined and cannot leave their house because there ends up being a zombie outbreak outside of the house. So they have to kind of board themselves in their house and stay in there, and they kind of have to wait for someone to kind of rescue them. And it's essentially them stuck together. But it's what happens, though, is it deals with, though, like someone knocks at the house and there's this other couple. And it's kind of them having to try and figure out what they're going to do and if they're going to let these people in. And that's kind of what it is this is sort of like a survival movie about these two that have had their arguments and sort of having to try and work together and get along with each other through the end of the world. And it's kind of what's going to bring them back together. But this is actually an interesting interesting, different take on a zombie movie. This one here is from the Orchard as well, and it's a movie here called Starfish. This is about this this girl whose best friend had died, and she ends up, she goes to the funeral and everything, and then she goes back to the girl's house, and she breaks into the house, and she's in there kind of like remembering things with her friend and remembering things that she did, but she starts like going, like, it's kind of her dealing with the fact that her friend is gone, and thinking about it, and then she's like it's kind of when you kind of don't know for sure exactly if what she's seeing exactly, because she goes through these tapes that she finds and starts like discovering things about her friend, and she kind of believes though that the end of the world around her is happening, and she like is like the you kind of like can stop it if she like finds these tapes and listens to these tapes and everything. It's a really interesting, there's some really creepy kind of stuff that she goes through in here. It's like one of these ones that's kind of hard to explain, but an interesting movie that deals with like loss and your friend, someone's best friend dying, and kind of what they're going through at the same time. Like I said, you don't know exactly what's going on out there, if it's like if it's things that she's imagining in the house, or these things that are really going on in this world. And the next one I got here is from Blue Underground. This is the brand new 3-disc limited edition here of Lucio Fulci's The New York Ripper. There's nothing bad on this cover, just cover it up so no one says anything, but this one has a really cool lenticular cover on this one, and this one has on here the brand new 4K restoration of the film. Looks really, really good here, but this has on here though the DVD, the Blu-ray, as well as the soundtrack CD in here, and I'll show you guys a look inside as well. Essentially though, this movie kind of has the feel a little bit to the movie Maniac. It has that kind of vibe to this. This is all set in New York, and it's about this guy who's going around and killing these women. And he's like, what he's doing though is he's like calling them beforehand and like doing these like crazy weird like duck voice, like this weird kind of duck kind of sounding voice, and like it's basically though about the police detective who's looking into these murders, trying to track down who it is and trying to find them. And he's talking to people that were kind of like witnesses or people who knew the people who were murdered, and he finds out as well too about this duck voice because he's talking to one of the women who lived in the building, and she was saying how she heard the duck voice over the phone as well. And of course, though, he starts kind of getting calls at the precinct as well of someone doing these weird duck voices and kind of taunting him and everything. So it's essentially about him trying to get to the bottom of, who is involved with these murders and, trying to find them so it will stop. But a really, really crazy film here, and crazy, scenes of this murder and everything in this, but really, really well done. Like I said, I don't know how I had never seen this one before. Feature-wise, though, this has a commentary track on here with Troy Hayworth, who's the author of Splintered Visions, Lucio Fulci and his films. It also has on here a bunch of different interviews on here with the co-writer, as well as a bunch of interviews with the stars and co-stars on this one. It has a New York City locations then and now, showing the locations what they look like now, as opposed to what they look like when they shot this in the early 80s. It has a theatrical trailer, poster and still gallery, so a whole lot of different features on this release here. But also in here it has a booklet. It has some pictures from the film, production, and all that kind of stuff about the movie. But a really, really cool Fulci film. Like I said, it was one of those ones that I had never seen before and don't know how I totally missed this one. And the next one here is from Vinegar Syndrome. This is a really, really fun movie here called Mountaintop Motel Massacre. This is a movie that I always really liked, and it always creeped me out because it's about this woman who goes absolutely crazy, and she runs this motel, this like really crappy motel, and like she's going around killing the people who go there, and she kind of crawls. There's like this thing she goes down, and she can crawl between the motel rooms in this kind of crawl space under the rooms. And it always creeped me out. I was always like imagining if I was ever in like a motel like that, I was thinking like, could there be like a weird like thing in the floor this woman could come up and someone could come up and attack me or something? Because there's a really creepy concept to this one. The whole thing, like I always really liked this movie. It's not a perfect movie or anything, but like the concept of this crazy woman. This has on here though different reversible artwork. It has this different cover here as well. I don't know if these ones are in all the releases or not, but it also has another thing on here. So it has two different slip things on here with covers, and it also has this image here of Mountaintop Motel Massacre, and this one here it's just like this crazy baby. But the one I always remembered though was this image, which was on the old DVD release from Anchor Bay. And it's like I said, essentially though, it's just about this woman going crazy who runs the motel and going after and killing the people there and everything. But it's a really fun movie. I always like movies that take place in motels and stuff. Like one of my favorite horror movies is Motel Hell. This movie kind of has like a similar vibe, I guess a little bit, but this one's much more of like a slasher movie. Motel Hell was more of like a comedy, kind of dark comedy kind of vibe movie. But this one has on here, though, a brand new 2K scan for the original 35mm negative on here. Has a interview on here with the assistant cameraman, interview on here with the production designer, still gallery, a theatrical trailer on this one. The next one here is a movie here called Night Beast. And this one, was made famous recently, by being in the, they were on the TV scene. There was a scene when they were watching TV in the movie Mandy, and you saw like a scene from this in that movie. But this is a movie, though, that is, to me, like everything that Don Doller directed, because he directed this, he directed Alien Factor, Fiend. I always really liked his movies because, he, shot in Baltimore, and that's where I grew up. I lived there up until 2010. I lived in like the Towson area. So like I knew like all these, like when I watch these movies, especially Fiend and stuff, like I know the areas, like I could tell you where they are. I'm like, I know that cul-de-sac area. That was like 5 minutes from the house, like where I used to live, like really close. But the other thing about these movies that is always really important to me, and like the first time I found out about them, though, was by Don Liefert, who was in, stars in the Don Dollar's films, and he was also in Fiend and Alien Factor. But I found out about the movies from him. He was my teacher in my last year of high school, and I was in 12th grade. He was the film history teacher, and he also ran the morning announcements, because they had like morning announcements which were like video announcements that broadcast to the school. And I remember like he was telling me about how like he was in these horror movies, and I always wanted to talk to him about that. Like I got kind of obsessed with that, and that was kind of what gave me the idea that I really wanted to try to get into horror movies and acting in them. And because of him, though, I became, started doing things on the internet, because if it wasn't for him, he ended up letting me do the morning announcements for the last like I guess like month or so of school. I ended up doing the morning announcements. So I was on the school morning announcements, and it was like this big thing for me to do that. I never did anything like that where people were like seeing me in front of people. And then after that summer, I ended up getting on the internet and started doing internet videos. And that was because of him and him letting me get on the announcements, and I owe everything to him, because I don't know if it would have happened, I would have done what I did or anything. So much owes to him. He passed away, though, back in 2010, but he was always a really, really nice guy. But this is about this crazy alien that comes and takes, over this town. They're trying to stop this alien. It's a really, really fun movie. But like I said, I always love anything that he was in, and it's always like important to me, something that I always, think about a lot. And this one has on here, though, a newly scanned and restored in 2K from its original 60mm negative. It has on here archival commentary on here with Don Doller and George Stover, as well as an interview on here with one of the actors, interview on here with visual effects artists. It has archival interviews, outtakes and bloopers, theatrical trailer, so lots and lots of features on that one. And next one here is from Vinegar Syndrome as well, and it's a movie here called Satan's Slave. This is basically, though, about this girl who is invited, she's invited with her, mother and father to go and see her uncle at the uncle's house. But on the way there, they get into this accident, and like the parents die, and then the uncle ends up taking care of the girl. But like this is one of these movies that deals all with like satanic stuff and these satanic rituals. And like you see in the beginning of this movie, there's like this satanic ritual kind of going on, and this girl that gets there, the uncle, though, is like treating her really odd, and like you can tell he's sort of trying to plan for something, and it's got the vibe of like because they did a lot of these sort of satanic kind of films around this time, and then it has like feels as well like a little bit to like these rituals, sort of like the Wicker Man, kind of like these odd, strange sort of things going on. It's a pretty cool movie. The star of this one is the actor who plays Alfred, who played Alfred in Batman, Batman and Batman Returns and Batman Forever. I can't remember if he was in Batman and Robin for sure, though. But he's in here as the star. But this has on here, though, a brand new 2K scan from the original 35mm negative. Has a commentary track on here with the director as well as composer. Commentary track on here with film historians. Making a featurette. Archival making a featurette on here. Theatrical trailers. A deleted scene. So lots and lots of features on this one. This is another one here. It's a really fun movie which stars Devine called Lust in the Dust, which is directed by Paul Buttrell, who also directed the amazing movie Eating Raoul, which is one, if you guys have never seen that movie, it's an absolute must-watch. He also starred in Eating Raoul as well. This is basically, though, like a Western parody which stars Devine and Tab Hunter. And Devine was enacted with Tab Hunter as well, I think like 3 years before this, or 2 or 3 years before this, in John Waters' movie Polyester, which is probably my favorite John Waters movie, and then followed by like Pecker. Like, but to me, Polyester is like my top favorite. That's one of those ones that I could watch again and again and again. But I always really loved Devine. I thought, like, you know, he was amazing in these films, and like, you know, he also sings in this movie as well. He, like, I like the music that Devine did. Like, it was like, it was fun, like, kind of crazy, wacky kind of stuff. This is like more old westerny kind of music, but this is a very, very fun, like I said, parody take on Western movies. This has on here a brand new 4K scan for its original 35mm negative on here. It has the return to Chile Verde, the making of Lust in the Dust with Tab Hunter and Alan Glaser, the importance of being Paul, which is an archival feature on the films of Par Patrol, as well as it's in 2 different aspect ratios on here, and has a still gallery and a theatrical trailer. But the last one here from Vinegar Syndrome, now this is one, I love this case. This is in a hardbound case, and it's a really obscure movie here called Evil Town. And this is a movie where it was like they shot the movie in like the late 70s, and then the movie ended up like it never got released, and the one guy, he ended up producer ended up buying the film, and then he ended up like adding all this new stuff to it. It was the same guy who also directed The Evils of Night, which Vinegar Syndrome released as well on Blu-ray, which I really like that movie. And this movie has like some real similarities to it. There's even a feature on here showing the similarities between both of them, and it's basically, though, I think I like the new stuff they filmed best, honestly, because like the older stuff you could tell. I'm thinking, yeah, because like I feel like the original movie might have been like a PG-13ish kind of, like, there wasn't PG-13 yet, but it would have been more of like a PG-ish movie. So they added in more like adult stuff to make this more R-rated, and like you could kind of tell like some of it was 70s, and then like you could tell what was new by like it looked better, and they also referenced like Tom Cruise. And I'm thinking like, well, the clothes, why would they be mentioning Tom Cruise with this look of the clothes in this? It was kind of funny, but essentially though, it's about this town where like you know, people are like abducting people and like putting their bodies, and they're doing weird experimentations and stuff on them, and these oddball stuff. And it's about these people who come through the town to go camping in the woods, and then they like end up kind of uncovering and discovering all this stuff, sort of stuff is going on there. But it's also like the new stuff that's filmed is like these 2 oddballs that are at this gas station, and they're going around like kidnapping people, and they had creative ways of like adding it in to make it look like they were at the same place and everything, but they weren't. But on here though, like I said, this is also on the new line that Vinegar Syndrome has released, but feature-wise it has a brand new 35mm 2K scan from the 35mm negative, has a audio interview on here with one of the directors, as like I said, the comparison between the Evils of Night movie that the director who bought this movie, you know, when he added the scenes, like, you know, like I said, there was a lot of major similarities between both of these. But this is from their new line, though, that they're doing. Well, these are limited to 2,500 copies, and you can only get them on their website. And then I think a few selective, like, video rental outlets and some of these video places. They have a link on the website of where you can get them in person. You know, but this is one, though, you can't get on Amazon or anything like that, only on their website. But I can't wait to see, you know, what some of the future ones that they release on that line. The next one here is from Olive Films. It's a movie here called The Believers. This is a brand new release. This one was out of print for a long time. Twilight Time released this one. So this is the brand new release of this one. And this stars, this has Martin Sheen is in here, and Jimmy Smits is in this movie as well. This is basically, though, about this guy who's like, it deals with voodoo, and when it comes to voodoo movies, I feel like either when it comes to me and like voodoo movies, I either really like them or really, really do not like them. And I feel like this is probably one of the top voodoo ones, next to The Serpent and the Rainbow, which I really loved as well. But this is basically about this weird voodoo doctor who is like taking an obsession to this kid, and it's like there's some really, really creepy stuff going on, and you know, Martin Sheen's character, he's like investigating, he like is like a therapist, and he's like talks to cops and stuff like that, and this cop has witnessed something, and he's talking to him about what he saw, and because of that, that's what gets like this voodoo witch doctor coming after him and everything, because he's like kind of digging into something that he shouldn't, is essentially what's happening. But it's a really crazy movie, and there's like this crazy thing in here that deals with spiders as well. But definitely one, if you guys are a fan of like voodoo kind of movies, this is one of the good ones. The next one here is from the Sleaze box. This is a movie here called Day of the Axe. This is a movie that is from 2004. I don't know if this one ever had a DVD release in the past or not. And this one has, it's basically though like a slasher movie about this crazy guy who's like going out in the woods, and he like was, you know, he's taken in, but he ended up escaping years later from the nut house. And it's kind of done in like case studies about the people that have like, you know, been killed out in these woods. And it's like a shot on video, old school style slasher film about them, you know, going out there and like, you know, people who have been killed out there. It's just a crazy throwback style slasher film. But like I said, this was shot in 2004, and I don't think it had ever been released before. Like I said, I don't know for sure though. And the next one here is from Cult Epics. This is one I just want you guys to know is available. It's a movie here called My Nights with Susan, Sandra, Olga, and Julie. And this movie here though, this has a brand new HD restoration and transfer from the original 35mm print, as well as an introduction on here with the director of this one, poster and photo gallery. It also has some short films on here, 3 different short films, and then theatrical trailers for other films that the company had produced. But this is basically though about these girls that all live, like they live together out in this kind of area, this farm kind of area in the middle of nowhere, and they're kind of like sleeping with each other, and there's this one guy there as well, and like they have this weird neighbor nearby as well, like who lives across from them. But in the beginning of this movie though, these girls kill this guy and they dump his body out of this lake, and the one nearby like finds the body. It's essentially though all kind of about these weird things and these weird type of relationships. This other guy who comes into play in the movie. It's not one that's really simple to explain, but like I said, I just wanted to let you guys know this one was available from Cult Epics. But anyway though guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Thanks again for watching, subscribing, and I'll see you guys later.